progress a little bit. Airbox is now mounted on. Not, well, half the screws have been used mounted on, put it that way. Not mounted on well enough to start the bike, but well enough to start working out where things have got to go. So there it is on there. So I'm looking at sort of tank clearance now and what to do with the petrol tank. Also, manifold should I say, is on. Not mounted properly again, but mounted in place. There it goes, running under the engine there. The only issue with it is it's quite a long system, and you can see where it finishes at the end there, and it joins here together. I've sawn off the end of it. I had this on like that, which was hitting the swinging arm, because obviously it's got the under-seat exhaust on the 1000. But it means I'm going to have to get a link pipe sort of like that here. There's no way to, to join that further back up at all. So probably something. I mean, I'm actually a little short pipe like that. Actually, looks quite mean, but going to be awfully loud. So yeah, I don't know what to do quite with that yet. There's a link pipe coming out, maybe up here somewhere like that might look quite good. Not sure yet, but I think what I'll do, I will actually, when I'm ready to start the bike, I'll fire it up like that. So that's good enough just to fire it, make sure it starts. And the good thing about this bit, this is where the cat was as well, so it's removed the cat from the system. So with an end can on, make it a few more ponies as well when it's set up. Okay, right, thought a bit more about petrol tanks, and it's a tough one. This tank doesn't fit as is, you can expect it to really. As you can see, it's massively too big overhang at the back. So what I'm thinking is to cut, I've just scored it here, cut the back off the tank around there like so, and then just get a new piece welded on the back of it. It's actually steel, these, so I can take it to a buddy of mine to weld steel, so it's not quite as specialised. Get a piece welded on the back. I'll probably lose a litre or so capacity, maybe just over, but I think I can live with that, that's no problem. So take the back off, and I think then it will just slide down very tightly. I mean, this tank seems, I've measured it out, I mean it's going to sit right down onto almost the top of the engine there. They don't give you much room to play with on these later bikes, not like the old bikes, you get your hand in there. But so yeah, so that's the plan. And then use my existing tank, not this one, my nicely painted tank, cut the inside out and use it as a cover, similar to what they do with the new bikes, but they had obviously a plastic tank cover on these, but mine will just have a metal tank cover. And then that saves me having to have my tank resprayed, which would have been about £300, so that saves a little bit of money there if I can use this and use mine as a cover. Because as soon as I start welding obviously anything onto this or my nice tank, it's just going to ruin the paint obviously with the heat. So I'm just going to cut the back off this now with the angle grinder and wreck a perfectly good petrol tank. So safety first. There we are, back cut off, push down, as you can see it comes right down onto the actual engine. A couple of little notches on the frame I'm going to have to take off. There's two notches on that bit at the back there, which is I think for the reservoir bottle, so I don't need those. And I might have to just trim a little bit more off because it's right literally touching that support. So as you can see, right down to the actual engine there. But I think that looks like it's on enough for the other tank to clear over the top now. So we just got to make sure the filler lines up. And I did some measurements, and it's around about the right area. So what I'm going to do now is cut the inside out of this tank, my dummy tank. Cut all this piece out and rest it over the top and see how we look. There we go. Fitted. CBR1000 tank. CBR900 tank. I've given that a little, it wants a bit more pushing and a shoving, mounting points in the right places. But, not many miles away, is it? Look at that. So then the filler cap will mount to the inner tank and then just sort of stick through this hole here. We'll see how that works in a minute. But yeah, not bad, methinks that. Not bad at all. I had to take a bit more material out the inside of my tank, and obviously the filler piece as well. But it's not very straight there yet. But there's a bit of there's a bit of movement on this to move around, to get it all to mount roughly in the right place. The next thing really is to mount it down, bolt it down properly now, and put the filler on and see where it sits. There we go. There's a CBR. I don't know what you call it. 9000. CBR 9000 tank. Actually held in place. Oh, I'm spinning it round by my nice fuel cap. That's nice. So yeah, there we go. It's actually held it there. It's not held in properly yet. It's pissed, but yeah, that's the thought. I mean, I don't have to fix that inner tank in. I can secure it to this tank, and then that's it, isn't it? I don't have to think about mounting that one and securing it to the frame. I could use these pickups here. They'll drill 2 holes. Obviously, you'd have 2 nice little bolts in the top there. That'd be okay. I can live with that. Makes people think, what's going on with that? And then have that mounted in there like so. And then the fuel's running lower down in the tank. Centre of gravity's better than what it would have been on the stock bike. Obviously needs the plate on the back before it's bolted in there. But yeah, you get the idea. First trial fit. Little gap yet still. The back of the inner tank is just touching this beam star. I'm going to have to take a little bit more off the back. It's just, I don't know if you can see, it's a bit dark, but it's just touching that rear support. I think I'm just going to take it up a slightly angle, take a little bit more off. But so you can see it all the way back there. It's just the angle of the inside bit, but the actual lineup is pretty bloody perfect, to be honest. I mean, they're not a million miles away. That also is not a million miles away. That's not even on properly, so it's a bit tricky to tell, but it's all within a few tugs and pulls. I've bolted onto the inner tank with the 2 mounts. I mean, that's going to be fun at MOT time, isn't it? I'll turn the MOT inspector while I've got 2 bolts running through the fuel tank. I'm sure that's going to take some explaining. But yeah, hang on, it's heavy. I'll lift it out a second again. Heavier than stock, unfortunately. But there you go. There's the 2 bits bolted at the front mount there. And I just need to take a little bit more off here. Just run up a slightly, maybe bring it in a little bit like that. Another centimetre should do it. A little bit like that. Just both sides, obviously, get it straight so the plate can go on. But yeah, there we go. I mean, it's not bad, is it? That's good. That. I mean, that's going to save some pennies out. I was worried about how this was going to work. But obviously I'm going to have to paint. I'll just repaint this black, I think, this inner one. And little nicks like that need sorting. Because you can see that bit, that's annoying through that. So little bits of tidying up, get the back plate welded on. And then of course I've got to do that to my nice shiny immaculate TT Legends tank, which will be quite tricky, and I'll find some way of trying to protect it with the angle grinder in case I slip or anything like that. So maybe just tape it all up or something. Don't know, but trying to avoid damaging the paintwork anyway. But there we are. But I think that is the plan, and that is a big load off actually, because that's I have a solution to the fuel tank, which is brilliant.